We just went live. Josh, welcome. We've been chatting for a bit before we went live, all the way from Singapore. So we got Singapore, Amsterdam. Guys, if you are joining in, if you're tuning in, meet Joshua Chin, the email marketing. The email father. I want to say the bot father, but like the email guru. I've been following you for a while. This is actually the first time we actually meet. And dude, I want to get to know you further. I want to know who Joshua Chin is, where you are in your agency, how you got there, what you're doing, how you're preparing everything for Q4, and maybe just sort of peek under the hood for all the other sales events that are actually upcoming in 2021. Hopefully 2021 comes soon.
100%. Yeah.
We got this whole thing squared away.
Can't wait, man.
Yeah, dude. How's everything in Singapore these days?
It's been pretty good, actually. Aside from the fact that we're not allowed to travel out of the country as much, but things are pretty normal. I mean, we get out. We still go out for like food and drinks, and we still meet up with friends, but only in groups of 5s.
Yep.
So it's still pretty okay. We just wear a mask when we go out. In fact, I have one right here.
Yeah.
Aside from that, things are pretty normal. And the e-commerce world, however, has been very crazy. It has been one of the very few industries that have experienced growth in the past year.
Yeah.
And we've been very lucky to be in a space and in a situation where we've been able to benefit from it. So yeah, although we are based out of Singapore, our clients are mostly global. Our team is remote as well, so that helps a lot. Keeping us agile. So yeah.
Tell us a little bit more before we're gonna. Okay, so here's the plan. So there is some kind of a plan. It's organized chaos, but as said, I want to learn a little bit more about you, Josh, about the business, about Kronos Agency, and then what we're gonna do. We're going to hey, what's up, Guy? Guy, sorry, Guy, it's not Guy. Guy. And then we wanna dive into email strategies, and with that, I want to have your opinion, your thoughts, your ideas on multi-channel chat, SMS, how that could sort of help and help email and vice versa. And then we're going to look at your slide deck, and we got some awesome giveaways as well. Josh is going to give.
Oh yeah.
Well, we're not going to. Josh, what are you going to give away? Let's tell them what you're going to give away, and then we're going to go.
Oh, right now. Oh man, that's.
Tell them what you're going to give away.
It's some good stuff. It's jam-packed with basically all the frameworks that we've built in Kronos. We've simplified it down to the core essentials of what people need to know to implement things that have given us such a massive amount of success with our clients for the past 3 years. It's kind of all jam-packed in the 30 plus page slide deck, and we're giving that away for free. It's awesome. It's incredible value. So stay tuned.
I love it. So, okay, guys, just stay tuned for that. That will come. Josh's gonna give that. We'll have something else for you. I'm going to add a full-blown messenger bot coupon code delivery flow with all the bells and whistles as well, together with Josh's pack, so you can actually hit the ground running to start building your list, whether it's SMS, whether it's email. Start building your list on your website, and then you're going to use Josh's framework to actually sell as crazy to all these people using all these elements we're going to give you today. Now, that said, Josh, you're the CEO, co-founder of Kronos Agency. Tell us a little bit more about Kronos. Oh, and by the way, it's a bots and beer, so I'm drinking just a cheeky little Heineken today.
I've got a flask. Cheers.
Thank you for being here, and to hear your success, everybody. Thank
you for having me. Cheers, everyone.
Awesome. So guys, if you got any questions, make sure you drop them in the comments. I'll keep an eye on the comments. Hey, Miguel, it gets cut off. Would that be recording? Yes, we are recording. I'm not sure what is getting cut off, but guys, do let me know in the comments if you're drinking beer or coffee. Let's start with that. And in the meantime, Josh, tell us a little bit more about Kronos Agency. I'm going to have a sip.
Yeah, absolutely. So Kronos is a 3-year-old email marketing agency We have been in business for about 3+ years now, and we have been kind of focused on the email marketing channel specifically and solely for the past 3 years, and we've only been working in the e-commerce industry, e-commerce space. So that basically gave us a ton of data and opportunity to kind of test our crazy ideas and strategies and what worked, what didn't work, and what failed and what succeeded. And we continue doing that till today. We are a team of remote strategists, designers, copywriters, and it's essentially a whole team of 70+ people are remotely scattered all around the world.
70, Josh? 70 people?
Yeah, it's actually 72 right now, I believe, 72.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well done. Everybody remote.
Thank you. So yeah, everyone's remote. We do have an office in Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, initially out of basically my curiosity of what it's going to be like building an in-house, in-office kind of a team.
Yeah.
And that turned out pretty well. And so we have 15 people out of our Malaysian office, but the rest of us are remote. We are all full-timers, but we kind of work independently while having that synchronized rhythm across the globe. So that's pretty cool. Our clients are mostly in the States, about 50% or more than that are in the States. And the rest of them are kind of scattered across in Asia, Europe, Australia, and New Zealand.
Cool.
So yeah, it's quite a global business. We have been very lucky to have been able to build our business that way from day one. So moving into the pandemic, it has been quite a smooth and easy transition.
Oh, we're moving out of the pandemic, Josh. We're moving.
Oh yes, we are. Oh, thank goodness.
No, we've been there. That's done. Hey,
been there, done that. That's enough. Yeah, no more of that.
We got the T-shirt for that one. Hey, Josh,
Yeah.
why did you choose e-commerce? Did you sort of specifically choose e-commerce, or how did that go?
Yeah. So funny story. I started the business while I was still in school and in university. So that was 3 years ago. And what happened was this isn't my first venture. So there were multiple kind of mini failures, nothing too huge, prior to Kronos. And along the way, I kind of built an idea of what I wanted in a career and what I did not want in a career. And I do treat this as a career. It's not just kind of like a side project or anything. It is a full-time thing, as many of us do. So I wanted something where I could spend my time in wholeheartedly, where I truly enjoyed myself in. Some parameters that I kind of discovered for myself were, number one, I needed the business to basically allow me to build meaningful relationships with people. And what I did prior to that was drop shipping on eBay. Plus, that was back in, I think, 2015 or 2014.
Meaningful relationships.
Yeah, it's very difficult to build relationships on a platform where eBay holds basically all my customer data, and I didn't have a community that I could kind of lean on. Today, we have Facebook groups. We have really amazing leaders and thought leaders like yourself leading the community on these ideas. Back then, I just wasn't exposed enough to these communities. So I realized that I really had that need for connection with basically meaningful relationships.
And where did email come in? Sorry to interrupt you, man. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, it's just
no
where
worries.
does email come in? Because email is super specific, and so it's
Yeah.
not it's email. One of the, like, I chose messenger bots as my weapon, which is sort of a fairly new kid on the block. And I love the fact that you chose email sort of early on already, where I think you create a position for yourself to step away from the crowd, because in our bubble, and you probably recognize this, the majority of the people are media buyers. And
Yeah.
so what did attract you in email?
Yeah, so that's the part. where building relationships was super easy with emails, right? On at scale. It's essentially building one-on-one relationships, but at scale. But more importantly, what drove me to really go super deep into this channel was the fact that I could build on my existing skill sets, which were copywriting and sales. Those are my existing skill sets up to that point, right? So multiple business failures and just experiences that brought me up to the point where I was a freelance copywriter at a point in time. And I realized that moving into the e-commerce space, which I had some experience in, gave me an opportunity to tap into a very fast-growing industry, but at the same time, still allowed me to build on existing skill sets that I could further capitalize on. And email is one of those tools where the feedback loop is so quick, where I do something, I get my results pretty much within a 24-hour cycle, and I have an instant feedback on how well I've done. If I've done a shit job, it shows in my results. So it kind of gave me that instant gratification cycle of improve, do good work, results, and improve again, and it goes on and on. So
amazing.
That's kind of how I got started. And eventually, it came to a point where I had way too many clients that I could handle myself. I had 6 clients on hand at one point in time.
And were this email clients, or did you do sort of other stuff as well back then?
Oh no, it was solely email, right? And I was kind of just super adamant on that. There were many opportunities to say yes to things that are outside of email, outside of my domain of choice, and I just said no, very kind of adamantly, because I knew that I was super new in my career, in
Did you freeze there, Josh? Not sure what's going on with Josh, guys. I'm checking the connection here. Let me just pull him back on Messenger, because it looks like we lost connection. Stand by, guys. Not sure what's going on. It looks like the internet connection on Josh's side kicked out. Sorry about this, guys. We have some awesome stuff coming up. Oh, there he is. Is he coming back? I'm just sending him a message here. Sorry about this, guys. I'm not sure where Josh is. Looks like he is. Hope he's okay. I think he's okay. I'm not sure what's going on. Let me see if I can give him a quick call. This is not expected. Hold on, wait for this, guys. Oh, this is what happens when you do it live. Looks he's back. I can hear something. Oh, there you go. Hold on. There you are. You're back.
My bad, guys. It is what it is. It happens. When Miguel was like, if it gets cut off with whatever you're recording, I was like, it's not gonna get cut off, and it did. I was like, oh shit. All right.
No, Josh, one thing before we move forward, could you do me a favor, because the presentation you had preloaded, I think I'm gonna take it off now. You need to upload it back in, or at least pull it back in, and then.
Sure. No worries. I'll do just that.
All good, man. All good.
There you go.
All right, yeah, Mary, you're absolutely right. There's always something going on. There's always something going on here.
Yeah,
Really
exactly, Mary.
We're old friends. Hey, Joe, so where were we? Okay, so the interesting thing was you said people told me, yeah, you should do other stuff as well, and you decided not to do so. Well, let's sort of wander a little bit there, because I think that's sort of a super interesting business decision. And it's one that I made myself as well, focus on messenger bots and just be really, really good at that. And automations and everything comes with that. Tell us a little bit more about why you chose solely email. And with that, there's another question. There's a question from Dolce here. It says, how did you grow the agency that fast in just 3 years? Well done.
Thank you. Absolutely. So yeah, email was one of the channels where, well, firstly, leveraging my existing skill sets. I was copywriting and sales, and it gave incredible results that was super measurable for e-commerce brands and businesses. It's one of those very few channels where every dollar that we spend on an email software gives us an exponential return on results, regardless of what. Well, most stages of an e-commerce brand's journey, you see that kind of a return. It's very hard to have that sort of an impact with Facebook ads alone. With Facebook ads, you get a lot of exponential growth, but the return it fluctuates a lot, and it's very unstable, and it's very difficult to grasp. And email gave us a very strong sense of certainty on returns, and it's very predictable. I know.
Oh, guys, this sucks. Oh, ready to join the broadcast? Yeah, Josh, you're back. You're back.
Sorry about that. I have no idea what's going on right now, but it's all good.
Good
back.
It's sort of an instant return, and isn't a short feedback loop, 24 hours. You chose not to go in other stuff because it's just not as simple and not as predictable as email.
Yeah, and the most amazing thing about email is I know how much money I can make for an e-commerce brand after looking at the necessary stats. Once I've had a look at the backend on Shopify, for example, and the backend on the email software, on what has been done and what has not been done, I know very consistently how much I'm able to generate on a predicted basis after a certain amount of time. And that's extremely difficult to do with Facebook ads. With emails, that's incredible, and the impact is big enough such that we're able to charge a fee for that increased ROI. And because it's such a dynamic channel, we're able to do basically anything in the realm of marketing and all kinds of psychology and tactics and strategies to maximize the results and gains for a client. And that's the game that I really enjoy.
Yeah, it's interesting because you say strategies and psychology. What is the thing that you've seen changing with email? What is it that what are the big shifts you've seen in the last 3 years in the use of email and the success of email?
Awesome question, really awesome question. And there are things that are on the foreground of, I guess you could call them innovation, that I'm really excited by, and that's machine learning and machine-assisted AI, so to say. Again, in email, it's very cool. I'm not an expert in that, unfortunately. I'm not an expert in machine learning nor AI, but the softwares that we use today make it super amazing, super easy for us to kind of latch on to that trend.
How does it help you?
It's really interesting because the predictive aspect of segmentations and email analytics that we already see with Facebook, for example, email is gradually learning and playing a catch-up game on what you already see on Facebook. It's incredible because prior to this, to achieve something like predicting when a customer is going to buy again with emails based on email data, plus Shopify or the cart data.
Could you give an example of how AI is sort of helping you guys be more successful with email?
Yeah, absolutely. So like predictive analytics, we are now able to, with sufficient historical data, we are able to predict when a customer is about to make a purchase again by obviously a certain date range with a certain level of discrepancy. But that's still pretty incredible because then we're able to quantify, all right, these are the golden period, the golden window within which we're able to maximize conversions for this certain group of people, this specific segment. So what we are experimenting right now is combining that with automations on our post-purchase sequences. So this, I haven't seen this done a lot, and it hasn't been done super well, primarily because of the limitations of the softwares that we use.
But I got a question for you, Josh. Is the AI then pinging you? So, hey, this sort of segment in this client's lists is now in the golden hour or golden window for a purchase, and then you fire out automation? Or do you have automations already set up, which are being dripped because the AI says so, this is the best time to do so?
So there are two ways of looking at this. Number one, an automation. When someone is about to buy, send this email.
Yeah.
Right. That's the simplest form of what predictive analytics can do. On another level, you can also create segments that dynamically update itself, which can then be used for other marketing channels as well as email. So you can retarget basically people who are about to buy on email. Plus, you can use that list to create, for example, a custom audience on Facebook and retarget them with ads. I'm not sure if that can be done with chatbots, but that would be super cool.
No, it can be with chatbots, and then with chat or in messenger bots or in automations, we probably would create segments and buckets and custom audiences based on actions people take in the bot, whether it's an action or specific comments they make. Yeah, 100%. The only thing before we're going to dive in your checklist and we're going to see all your cool stuff, what I'm curious about is what software, what tools are you using for this AI in email? How do you use?
Yeah.
What tools are you using?
Absolutely. So if you're using Shopify, I 100% recommend Klaviyo. That's Klaviyo. Full disclosure, we are a platinum partner with Klaviyo, which just means that we're really good at using Klaviyo. That's about it. But we've been a big fan since day one, right? Even before we've become a partner. It's an incredible company. They're constantly growing and adding new features. And predictive analytics is one of the newer ones that gives us a lot of future opportunities to play around with. There are third-party integrations, third-party applications that can assist you in making much deeper analytics if you have a massive amount of data, like millions of emails, and you want to go even deeper into that. There are platforms solely dedicated on what we call customer data management. Those are called, I believe, CDPs, customer data platforms.
Yeah.
So Klaviyo acts as a CDP. As a very simplified version of it, and it's very sufficient, especially if we're within that below 100 million annual revenue range. It works extremely well, and even for bigger brands, I've seen it done pretty well as well. It's super user friendly.
But you say, did you say $100 million rev?
Yeah, that's kind of just my ballpark. Anything above that, you probably need something that's a little bit more enterprise grade, a little bit more customized to the business.
What's the threshold? What's sort of the minimum threshold? Because I think $100 million rev for a lot of people is sort of enterprise level already.
Exactly. So that's the thing we love about Klaviyo. It's that it applies for most small to medium-sized businesses,
Yeah.
it fits in extremely well.
And the AI
So,
works
yeah.
with the basic setup for Klaviyo, the AI that you're
Yes.
using, that
Yeah.
you're using to get the success for your clients is in the Klaviyo that we all can access.
Exactly. It's not an additional feature. It's not an add-on.
Well,
It's a part. It's a part and parcel of the software. So that's a super cool part.
perfect.
But
Nice.
yeah, that's what I'm excited about for the future. Right now, it's not 100%, but you know, it's pretty cool still.
Still there? Josh, are you still there?
Yeah, still here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry. I something fell here on the desk. No, it's all good. So the interesting thing is I didn't know about the AI in Klaviyo, but for people who don't know, and for those who know, is ManyChat has a native connection with Klaviyo. So it's super simple to connect your ManyChat account, your ManyChat account with your Klaviyo account. And from there, you can actually use Messenger to start building your lists. I call that the Messenger first strategy. Get them in Messenger, get them in your Messenger bot, deliver your coupon code, deliver your lead magnet, deliver your whatever it is, whatever your value proposition is. Ask for email address, ask for phone number. It doesn't have to be in one flow. It could be something over time. And then that's how you start building your list. That's how you start building your multi-channel marketing strategy. I call it Messenger first. Get them in, get their email address, get their SMS, get their phone number, get their explicit opt-in, and then sync it to your CRM. And since we're talking e-commerce and email, I think Josh is sort of spot on there. Klaviyo is probably the sort of the go-to tool. And with the Messenger bot AI, the Messenger bot tools, ManyChat is delivering with the power of Klaviyo and the awesome stuff that Josh is going to show you now, plus some stuff we got available for you as well. You can go wrong. Josh, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the floor for your presentation and for your framework to create.
Sounds good.
The only thing what you need to do, man, is I don't see your presentation on the screen. Hold on. Here we go.
There you go.
There we go. Right on. Josh, it's all yours.
Ta-da! Awesome. All right, guys. So I'm just going to run this through real quick and going to touch on the main points because you guys are going to be able to download this, read through this yourselves, share this with your team. It's going to be very versatile. It's not meant to be something that's super in-depth, but it's succinct, it's concise, it contains all the necessary information that you need to make this Q4 probably your best one yet and break some records this BFCM. So with that, what we did last year, it wasn't incredible, but I know lots of brands see numbers like this in probably a day or a month, but this is what we've experienced in just a 7-day window, right? We generated just over 830K in email attributed revenue for clients with 424 campaigns, and on average, our clients generated 23% of their total revenue with emails in during Black Friday, Cyber Monday in 2019. So that's a 7-day window. And this template and the frameworks that follows is exactly what we've done in that period of time. And we have sufficient evidence to believe that we can easily, at the very least, double to 5x of what we see today. And I wouldn't be even surprised if we 10x'd the numbers because we were way smaller back then as well. So what you want to get started with is kind of create micro checkpoints and goals for your holiday planning. And I know a lot of brands go in straight into holiday without any plans, without any marketing calendars, any plans at all. What you want to do is just create one that is super simple. At the very least, know what you're trying to accomplish as an outcome, and the goals that you need to, the milestones that you got to hit in order for you to achieve that goal. These are some ideas, and we're going to go into them in a little bit more. This is step one in building hype for the entire holiday period, right? You can take this as a snippet of an entire holiday strategy, or you can take this as step one in a specific time frame. For example, in BFCM, this is what we'll do for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. This is email number one that we'll create way before Black Friday even hits. So Black Friday is on, I believe, the 28th or 29th of, sorry, I believe 28th of November this year. So this email is probably going to go out on the 21st or a week prior, right? And the purpose of this email is basically, it does nothing but to create hype, okay? Something that's super interesting is instead of creating a CTA that says buy now or add this to cart, it says add to calendar, right? It doesn't generate any sales.
Hey, Josh,
it looks something like.
You got a quick question, Josh. Do you have an experience? Yeah. Do you have an example of a hype builder email? Just a quick example of something that really worked well for you guys.
Yeah, I think there is an example over here. Let me see if I can. I'll get back to this in a little bit. Okay, but I believe there is an example.
Just for the record, guys, Josh will share. You will have access to the slide deck, so you will have access. So you don't have to make any notes. Just sit back and relax and listen to this, because you will get this slide deck after the presentation.
Exactly. So here are just a couple of checkpoints that you want to hit for your hype builder email. Again, this is meant to build hype. It's meant to build some excitement, attention, and curiosity for your main launch. So what I recommend, add a countdown timer, add a call to action button that doesn't say buy now, but add to calendar. And this is a link for you to basically create your own add to calendar button. For if you're including any content, think about categories that fit into gifts and gift ideas. That typically works really well. Step two is building a priority list, right? A priority list. This is a list of people who are your top fans, people who are excited for what you have to offer, people who are going to buy no matter what. Okay, these are your VIPs. And you want this to go out as an email a week before the actual event, and incentivize people to be a part of this basically priority list by giving them an early access if you have limited stock of your product, or a bigger discount if that applies.
Wait,
make your CTA clear.
Sorry, do you use the VIP list as a hook as well? So sign up to join our VIP list so you can get early access to whatever we're going to drop on the next sales event?
Yes, absolutely. So we do this prior to the event itself, and we use this list for future events as well. So your priority list will comprise of people who opt in during this period, plus people who have opted in previous iterations of your sales, or in your products, by making a lot of purchases multiple times, or they have made a massive amount of purchase over a long period of time.
Yeah, got it. Question from Guy here. I'm sorry. Just a question from Guy is, are you currently using messenger bots to build your email lists?
Are we currently using messenger bots? We are for some clients. It's very client specific. Some clients prefer to go straight to email, and that's really a business decision. Some clients prefer to go with what Rutger recommends, a messenger first strategy. So messenger, then email, then SMS. But it really depends on the business. At this point in time, most of the brands that we work with, by default, go with email first. But messenger is part of that entire multi-channel mix of things.
Cool.
All right. So just some examples. There you go. This is, simple one, simple image. Doesn't have to be too complex. A clear call to action. Again, it doesn't say buy now. It just says subscribers who opt in early receives priority access and a bigger discount.
Hey Josh,
These are
what
more
are you
examples.
using for these pop-ups? I'm a fan of OptinMonster. Obviously, I use sort of the native ManyChat features as well to get people subscribed. Is there a specific tool you prefer to
For pop-ups,
these pop-ups modals?
for pop-up modals, we actually use Klaviyo forms a lot, and you'd be surprised at how versatile and how customizable that tool is, just built into Klaviyo without any additional add-on. Basically, no additional cost. So we use Klaviyo most of the time. It's native forms. It's super lightweight as well. But in some cases, we do use OptinMonk, Privy or Privy. Just Uno, as well as OptinMonster. But yeah, we are pretty agnostic when it comes to pop-up forms, as long as it does the job well.
Exactly, as long as it works.
And as long as it works. So yeah, this is what I was talking about. Add to my calendar. This is incredible because, all right, this is something that people often overlook. It's incredibly difficult to stand out in your customers' inboxes the closer you get to Black Friday. The amount and the volume of emails and attention that things that are demanding your customers' attention increases exponentially the closer you get to Black Friday. What this does is that it extracts the customer's attention away from the inbox and into their calendars, which, if they're a working adult, or if they're an organized person, they most likely look at their calendars on a daily basis. So the reminder is going to come, guess what? Through their phone, a notification, through their emails. Hey, you have this event coming up. And it's all native, inbuilt as a part of their lives. So I love this example. This is going to change the game for a lot of brands.
No, dude, this is amazing.
It's super cool.
The interesting thing here is what you're doing is you're stepping away from the direct sale. You're stepping away from the direct. It's still direct response, but it's sort of more built to. It's more with the consumer, the end client in mind, versus the shop in mind. Because they want to sell. What you're doing here is you're putting the client, the end client first, and you're building anticipation, and you're building for them. You're building for them, and then you earn the right to sell by doing all this cool stuff. I love that, man.
Exactly, and people just you just gotta think of it in a holistic manner, and don't worry about making that sale immediately. Think of the entire sales period. How much are you going to be making in that period of time? And you want to maximize the impact when you actually ask for a sale, and not just ask for a sale over and over again. And that's what I love about this. Right. And the third email, the third stage is the launch email, right? At least a day before the main launch, right? If Black Friday is on the 28th of November, this email will go out on the 27th of November. This is the launch, or basically priority access for people who have opted in to the priority launch. This is kind of an exclusive thing, of course. Make sure that there's an expiration date. There's a real urgency factor to this. Make sure that obviously the discount code is relevant for that group of people. If it's a higher discount, make sure you're giving them a higher incentive and all that stuff. And basically make it clear that this is VIP only. If you have to, change the look and feel of the email as well to reflect that. So an example of that, this is one example, super quick one. If this is something that doesn't require a lot of design effort, right? It says, as promised, greater savings and priority access to you because you opted in as part of our early bird for Easter sales. And the fourth email, this is the main launch, right? For some brands, you're gonna make most of your money on the main launch. For some, you're gonna make most of your money from the priority launch, ironically. So it doesn't really matter. But what's happening in the main launch, right, is you're prioritizing basically your entire as wide a group, as wide an audience as you can, but make sure that your best segments are in that mix. What we do on this part on the main launch as well is we segment the entire list into different groups of people in order for us to customize the subject line just a little bit to maximize open rates. All right, so we segment the exact same email into a couple of different segments based on things like interest group, value of the customer, level of engagement, which allows us to customize the subject lines specifically for that segment of people who might be basically things that could interest them a little bit more. Therefore, maximizing the open rates and the results overall. Just by doing this, we actually tripled we actually 7x'd. We 7x'd the outcome, which is the revenue generated from one of the brands' Black Friday launch, just by doing that, compared to their usual sales email that's literally just a single email sent to the entire list. So segmentations are very strong. Don't forgo that.
No, I got a question about segmentations, Josh. Can I ask you? Can I sort of wander a little bit in segmentations?
Hey, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I got a quick question because I'm the Messenger guy, and Messenger, sort of due to the conversational nature of Messenger, segmentations, creating segments is pretty easy. Why? Because we can actually have conversations. It's instant.
Oh yeah.
We can do quizzes, and based on that data points, we can create segments. Pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
But with email, I'm not gonna sort of. I know email is valuable. There's no doubt about that. That's not a discussion. But what are your top tips and tricks for proper segmentation using email?
Ooh, that's a good one. So segmentations comes down to understanding who your customers are and who your audiences are. It can mean understanding the different personas that you have, and that typically is the end of the conversation. The different personas that you have, or understanding different product groups or collections of products that you have. It can be as clearly defined as mattresses and cookies, and cookie buyers may not be mattress buyers, and mattress buyers may not be cookie buyers, and those are clear segmentations. But it can be as subtle as a hard mattress buyer versus a soft mattress buyer, and having different approaches to the two groups.
Okay, so then you're taking those data points from actually previous purchase behavior.
Purchase behavior, viewed product behavior, website, anything that happens on a website.
Okay, yeah, I got it. So
exactly.
Okay, so you're using on-site behavior, so behavior from the actual sign up or the contact record in the store that is synced with your ESP, in this case Klaviyo, and that's how you're building segments. Okay, nice. So the difference here is
correct, yep.
You're using on-site behavior, where in Messenger we're actually using Messenger bot behavior. People, the types of questions they answer, the information they give.
Exactly, yeah.
Sort of, okay, nice. I just want to have that clear. Okay, awesome. Thank you, man. That's cool.
That's right. Awesome. So what we also do with the main launch email is we make sure that those on the priority list are also receiving the main launch email, so that those that are in the VIP priority list understand that, oh, the rest of the people are actually getting a different discount or a different offer, and they are the normies. We are part of the exclusive group that people don't get access to, which then elevates the status of being in that priority list. And then we do an extension of the priority offer for those that have not converted yet. That typically maximizes the gain from your priority list as well as your main launch.
Yeah.
And then these are just some examples. It doesn't have to be super complex. It can be, just a banner with a clear call to action, a clear defined why should I care kind of a thing.
Hey, quick question. A couple months ago, probably 2 months ago, we had a Gigat session with Emmanuel Sinka from
Manu, yeah.
with Manu, and we spoke about email deliverability. And one of the key takeaways was when you're sending emails, make sure, especially when you're just starting sending emails, make sure that they are sort of low on HTML. And correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I'm missing something here. But the examples you just gave are super just images. This is sort of just full HTML or any before without sort of wandering into sort of the whole email deliverability and the technical side of things. Do you have sort of quick tips on, because sending these emails and all the stuff you say makes perfect sense, but when or if an email doesn't hit the inbox or doesn't hit the right tab, then everything was for nothing.
Yes, you're right, 100%. And that's why we do a lot of groundwork before we reach this point, right? This is the fun stuff, right? The boring stuff is where people often kind of don't think about, and that's deliverability.
Yeah.
Are we hitting the right inboxes at the right time? Are we getting the right eyeballs on our messages? That's all done prior to a major sales event like BFCM. So by now, most of our brands would have actually done all our deliverability tests, monitoring, reports, and all that stuff. Plus, any optimization stuff would end by the end of this month, or at the longest end of next month. So 1 month prior to BFCM, we would basically kind of slow things down on the testing and the deliverability stuff, because we know that that's settled out of the way already before we move on to this. But as a quick tip, if you're seeing deliverability issues, what that looks like, it could be you're seeing very low open rates, either open rates that are below 10% or even below 15% consistently. And by consistently, I'm looking at the average across the past 3 campaigns that you've sent. If it's below 10%, major cause for concern. Slow it down. Use plain text emails only. Make sure that your segments are properly defined and you're not sending to people who do not want to receive your emails. How do you know that? Well, if they've been on your list for a long time and they haven't opened a single email from you in the past, say, 120 days or 90 days, that's a clear indication.
You
gotta get rid of them.
Yeah, exactly. You just purge them.
We would do one of two things. Number one, if it calls for it, we'll just purge them, and we'll do what is called suppression. We'll just suppress them so that the data stays, but we'll not reach out to these profiles anymore, and we don't get charged for them as well. Yeah. Or number two, we go through a re-engagement sequence. So this is something pretty cool. We can do this via Facebook ads, which we don't do. We often just basically give our customers, our clients, the data to run with it. Or you could do it through email, a re-engagement email sequence. But obviously, that's a completely different strategy. What ends up happening is, at the end of that, for those that convert or reconvert, we'll keep them in the system. For those that don't, we'll just purge them. We can suppress. So yeah, absolutely look at that. 10%, that would be a good gauge. Or if you're seeing a high level of spam complaints, that's going to be a problem. Now, Klaviyo has a great benchmark that they share, and I can share the link with everyone after this. But it gives you a good idea of where that line is drawn, below which it's a cause of concern, right? Below a certain click rate, a certain open rate, that's where you got to be a little bit worried about deliverability. But in general, if you're not facing problems like that, I wouldn't worry too much about deliverability.
Cool.
Perfect. Now, the next email. This is the next the following day or the following stage after the main launch has started. right? This is sort of a series of reminders, and we use social reminders instead of just generic, hey, remember this kind of a thing. We use social proof and socially generated content by users to act as reminders. And reminders not of the sales alone, but reminders of its benefits, of the product, and the value propositions. We typically add a countdown timer as well. It works out pretty well. We add top selling products as an additional block just to give people an easier decision-making process.
Josh, how do you generate your user-generated content? How do you get the user-generated content, and how do you actually then use it in your social reminder emails?
Ooh, I love that. All right, so actually, I'm curious about that from you as well. How do you generate user-generated content via chatbots? But with emails, what we do is this is an automated process with our post-purchase sequences. So what we call a new customer nurture flow includes a request for customer testimonials, reviews. We often run contests as well to basically generate who's kind of like hashtag contests with Instagram, and often that goes slightly beyond email, and we kind of coordinate with clients on those things. But yeah, it's often kind of just automated as part of a post-purchase sequence. What about our chatbot? How do you?
Same. It's the same. I think so. We have post-purchase sequences, post-purchase flows in place, and those post-purchase flows are actually triggered. So let me just take it one step back. What we have is we have flows that enable somebody to subscribe to receive post-purchase order updates. So as soon as somebody actually made the purchase, they can opt in to receive post-purchase order updates. So we actually keep the client sort of close to us, and every step of the way, all the way from checkout to the moment that the product is delivered, we can send them sort of simple messages. Hey, Josh, your product is now here. It's on its way. It's in transit. It's whatever. There are up to 5 or 6 different messages people get. Now, as soon as the product is delivered, we have an automation in place that then triggers, depending on how it's configured, and depends a little bit per client, per product type. But let's say a week after the product is delivered, we fire off a request feedback flow. And the request feedback flow is actually similar as what you just described. We can send it through SMS, we can send it through Messenger, and we can send it through email. And ideally, we send it through all the 3 channels at the same time. Why? Because we just use the different channels to sort of help each other. Somebody doesn't see the email, they probably see the SMS or the Messenger bot or the Messenger message, but all those messages go to one and the same entry point, and that is a request feedback flow where we ask for feedback. If it's if it's good feedback, positive feedback, we allow them to write a review, and the review is submitted in a form. We developed a web view form where can somebody actually write a review. They can upload an image or multiple images, and then that data for now at this stage is sent to a Google Sheet. From the Google Sheet, all the data can be uploaded, imported to any review platform, Jotpo, Loox, you name it. And then that's how we generate user-generated content and reviews. And we use this as well to prevent negative feedback spinning out of control.
I love that. Yeah.
Super early, we can sort of be there. If it takes too long for a product is delivered, or between messages, you can just send us a message, or the client, the bot, send a message, and then we can do an order lookup. A customer service rep can come in between and just sort of give a peace of mind to the subscriber or to the client, and before they actually going on a rampage.
Absolutely.
Or whatever. So email is a crucial part there as well, 100%.
Absolutely. We do something really similar as well. We do what is called a conditional split on Klaviyo. So what happens is, all right, here's a really easy way to do that for those of you who are listening. In your post-purchase email, what you can do is create a super simple questionnaire type of email where basically it's just one question. Are you satisfied with your shopping experience?
Yep.
Yes, no. And all you have to do is click on one of those buttons,
Yep.
right? If it's a no, redirect them to a customer support page on how, or a chatbot flow on how they can get in contact with a customer support rep. If it's a yes, we then redirect them to a review collection page
Yep.
on Yotpo, Lux, or whatever.
Yep.
And the follow-up sequences following that is based on which button they clicked. So it's a conditional split. If clicked on yes, this is the email that they will be receiving. It's a reminder to fill out a review or a testimonial.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
No. Yeah.
It's
and then that goes to support.
Yeah, and this is
exactly.
Perfect. And when you, as a brand, if you're sort of, and this is me and Josh, correct me if I'm wrong, but when you're using at least the two channels, Messenger and email, you just sort of increase your chances of success, because not everybody's going to read your email. And
exactly,
you're going to read your messenger messages, but without sort of being pushy, you should make sure that you reach out to these people, to your clients, through at least 2, maybe 3 channels with sort of the same, the same context.
Yep.
And to opt in to take a specific action, and ideally you have some conditional logic in there that is sort of being driven, and use conditional logic to decide to send the other or not, depending on if somebody actually took an action.
Correct. And I love that, because I get so many questions from people saying, with chatbot coming up, should I, what should I do? Should I do email marketing or chatbot, or should I focus on SMS? Do both. Do all of them. You need all of them to succeed. It's a multi-channel strategy that works.
Yeah, 100%. No, dude, I 100% agree, and I get that question often as well. And again, there is no one size fits all. The only thing what I think you should do is you should put the end client sort of, you should focus your flows around them. You should be helpful, be genuine, be valuable, and while you're doing that, you will earn the right to sell, being relevant. And that will sort of translate in your open rates in email, in your delivery in Messenger as well, spam reports, everything. Just be helpful. Just guide them towards where you want them to be, and that is the sale. And just help them post-purchase as well. That's what that's what I'm preaching. Be helpful, and then we're gonna sell off the back of that.
Absolutely. And at the end of the day, these are people. These are not Facebook profiles. These are not email addresses. These are human beings. So treat them as such, and that's where the best results come from. So yeah.
100%.
And here are some examples of social reminder emails. Something that I really want to point out here is this email over here. If you notice, this is actually just a screenshot of an Instagram post. Surprisingly, this worked out incredibly well. This has actually beat the average revenue generated per email by 3x of the average, basically.
It can be so simple.
Insane, yeah, it's insane, and it worked out super well, because this kind of gave people a sense of, so that's what it looks like. That's real now. I can relate to this person. This is just
and this is what
random person.
I had a chat with Molly, or it was one of the posts Molly from last week, is go native. Just don't overthink stuff. Make it real. Make it like native. What can I say? And this is another proof of concept right there.
Exactly. I love that. And lastly, don't forget this, but a closing email, right? The last day of the sale, make sure that there is a real urgency behind this. If there's scarcity, make sure that people know that there are X amount of products left. And If you want to get crazy, you can always do a surprise sales extension by popular demand. So what you can do is at the end of the day, at the end of this, one day after the sales closing, you can extend that to people who have not made a purchase and telling them and I would recommend a plain text email, by the way. Try this out. In a plain text email, tell people that, hey, I know that we closed the sales event, but we've heard some amazing feedback from you guys, and we'd love to surprise you with an extension of what has happened. Just in case you guys wanted to make that leap and you never got a chance for whatever reason, here's the same discount code again, or here's the same offer. If you like, here's the link, and that's it.
I love it.
And at the end of it all, we top it off with a thank you email. A thank you email from either the founder, from yourselves, the customer success officer, or whoever from the company. Actually write a personalized email and actually write out how you feel and thanking them for participating in your in your sales event, saying that it has been an amazing success and will continue doing amazing stuff for the community, and basically back to your brand promise, right? It doesn't call for a sale or anything. It's just a thank you email, just acknowledging people. That closes off the relationship on a very nice tone. And at the end of the day, ultimately, this is a long-term game, and you're here to build a long-term relationship with your customers. So always think of it from that point of view, and you're good to go.
Dude, that was epic. Wait a minute, just let me go back here. That was epic. What I'm going to do, guys, I'm just going to, because for everybody who's still here, I'm going to drop the link in. I'm going to drop the link in. We'll be here. We'll be here for a little bit. Just for the record, guys, if you're looking this on Instagram TV, we can only do 60 minutes. 60 minutes are gone. So if you want to check out sort of the aftermath of this call, where Josh and I will be geeking out a little bit further, just make sure you head over to our Facebook page or YouTube channel, where you can see everything. Now, for those who are not checking this on IGTV, check out what we have for you. Is because what we promised, where are you? Here it is, guys. Check this out. I wasn't able to do it better than this, but when you follow this link, and let me drop it here in the comments as well, you can get Josh's checklist, Josh's presentation, as you see it here on the screen. When you follow this link or you type it into your browser, you will be redirected to a super simple messenger bot flow where you find 3 buttons. And those 3 buttons, one of them allows you to download the actual slide deck from Josh. The other one is a full-blown coupon code delivery flow that you can use out of the box to start getting people opt in to your messenger list, SMS, and email lists, and then start leveraging Josh's framework here. And the other one is for those who are interested in launching bots for e-commerce. There's a 20% discount code to buy purchase B for E as well, bots for e-commerce. That code is just valid for 24 hours. So if you want it, just make sure you're going to get it quickly. I'm just going to leave this on the screen here for a little bit, and then just do it like this. It looks fancy. Hey, Josh, that's pretty awesome.
Perfect.
We talked about attribution as well. How do you, what do you use to attribute sales specifically to email?
Right. So here's the tricky part. The more channels you add, the more channels we add to a brand, the more complicated it gets. With email, we try to keep things simple. We use a last click attribution model with Klaviyo, with a 2-day, typically 1 day, maximum of 2 days conversion window. So if a click goes through and the conversion doesn't happen within a single day, it doesn't count. So that's basically what it is. And it's kind of, honestly, it's kind of hard, because when you add on, different channels, the attribution works much better as a weighted model, right? Meaning you attribute a certain percentage of that final sale two certain stages of the customer's journey at different channels. But it's still hard because we don't know. We really don't know. What's your take on that?
Well, it's a tricky one. That's why I'm asking. I remember I had this same conversation with Raymond Johnston from Right to Digital, and what they are doing, they are leveraging. They're doing a lot with Messenger and on conversions as well. And the tricky thing here is clients always want to know where the conversion actually happened, which model or which channel is driving actual revenue. And it's tricky. And I think the one answer is there's no definitive system, but having that sort of 2-day attribution window inside of Klaviyo, I think that's solid. And in terms of Messenger, what we're doing is we're using the ManyChat Pixel. It's not perfect, just like any other pixel, but the ManyChat Pixel at least is able to attribute revenue and actual sales based on a click that came through or a conversion with the last click from the bot. So somebody was in the bot, they went, well, that's actually 28-day window. I'm not able to sort of manage that window. So somebody clicked in the bot, went to the shop or did whatever. When they fired that pixel within sort of 28 days of the last click, it will be attributed inside of the ManyChat account.
I see.
So that was my question. So your answer is there's no definitive model there.
And I'm definitely not an expert in attribution modeling, that's for sure. And we try our best. With some clients, we go a little bit deeper into that. We kind of unify all channels with UTM tracking, and we use Google Analytics to kind of have a balance between all of that. And we use GA's last click attribution to assign for conversions. But again, it's not the most ideal. Ideally, we want a fair, dynamic, weighted attribution model that accounts for basically all channels. But it's that's not always the most easy. It's not always the easiest, nor is it the most efficient. Because what are you going to use with that? What are you going to do with that amount of that information? It's often much more effective to look at email as a standalone channel and treat it as an optimized channel, right? So optimizing solely from the perspective of email alone and taking data as a directional information, meaning if I do this and I see improvements in opens and clicks and revenue, that means I'm doing something well. I'm not sure if that's the exact revenue that I'm that's attributed to email.
It's a whole thing.
But yeah, I see that there is an improvement. So that's often what we do.
I agree. Hey, other question I have. Also talking about data sets. You at some point you mentioned, hey, we're going to use different headlines, and then we talked a little bit about segmentation. Do you have, because we know headlines, so next to deliverability, which we're not going to dive into, but headlines are probably actually the tool that make or break an email. Do you have some kind of maybe a formula or anything to craft proper emails and headlines for emails?
Do you mean subject lines?
Yeah, subject lines. Sorry,
Right. Yes. So that's a tough one, right? Obviously, we know what not to do. Not to use spammy sounding words. There's a huge list of those keywords that you're supposed to avoid. What we have found recently was in most of our tests that we've conducted, transactional sounding emails, right? Transactional sounding emails typically fare a little bit better in the deliverability domain, meaning email subject lines that sound like updates about your order, or tracking code, or your purchase is confirmed, often lands in the primary tab and is often prioritized, much more so than an email that says, here are the latest updates about our products, or here's our latest product launch, or something along those lines.
You gave me an idea, Josh.
It's, well, again, caveat, you can't do this too often because it gets annoying as well, right? kind of putting yourself in the consumer's shoes. If you're receiving promotional emails all the time and it's always landing in your primary tab, I would be annoyed because that's what a promotions tab is for, right? So although that gives us a lot of power, we tend to do that sparingly. And we monitor not whether or not an email is landing in promos or primary, but rather what is the volume of eyeballs we're getting on that email. If it's landing in promotions, but it's getting a 30% open rate, for example, we're still pretty happy with that because that's twice the industry benchmark, right? So it's kind of a give and take situation there.
But what are sort of examples then of transactional sort of sounding emails or transactional disguised emails?
Yeah, like information about your order.
But you should have information about your order in it. I mean, it's not like, hey, but that's clickbait.
It is. It really is clickbait, right? Obviously, you can go way off where you're saying, here's your order, and inside you're actually promoting a random product. That's going to piss a lot of people off, and that's where your spam rate's going to skyrocket. But doing it sparingly and understanding how you can convert your subject line into a more transactional sounding one, that's where we would begin, right? So we start with a regular subject line of what we would do, and we test out something that's a little bit more transactional in nature. So that typically works out well. Yeah.
Hey, question for you, because with the messenger bot frameworks we've built and we're building for ecom, we obviously also include transactional messaging when it comes to order updates. Now we are building. Brad actually built something which allows us to sort of send transactional emails based on somebody accepts marketing upon the checkout in Shopify. Now, the idea you just gave me is why not send actual transactional emails based on the order status, but use those emails as sort of a funnel, so that the sort of 80% of the email is actually about the order status, but further down all the point that it's delivered, or maybe the other way around, add more relevant info for next purchase or a coupon code. What are your thoughts about that?
That's a great idea. That's a great idea. And this is also one of the biggest reasons why we strongly advocate for replacing the standard auto confirmation emails that Shopify, WooCommerce, and whatever would typically send. And we replace that with emails on Klaviyo, because that allows us to control what goes into that email, right? And similarly with chatbots, you're able to kind of customize that 20% that kind of leads people on to the next stage in their journey with your brand. We do the same with emails, right? It doesn't necessarily mean we include a discount code in the auto confirmation email, but it often means that we continue on the conversation from then on, and we open up that loop of what's next.
Exactly.
And it can be as simple as, hey, thanks for your order. Your order is confirmed. Here's what you've ordered. Here's your tracking code or whatever. Hey, by the way, check out. Keep a lookout for next email. You're gonna really want to see this. It's gonna contain yada yada yada, and I think I think that you're gonna love it. That kind of just preempts people that we're sending you a follow-up email after this. Keep a lookout for that.
Love it. I'm going to dive into that. Hey, dude, I'm going to be respectful of your time as well. I'm sorry, we're far over the hour already. I got tons of questions, but we should do a follow-up session and sort of.
Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah.
Do for stuff. I'm going to open up the floor quickly if there are any questions. Mary is already gone. I'm not sure if Guy's still here or Das still here. Guys, if you have any questions, do make sure you drop them in the comments now. In the meantime, I'm going to put this up on the screen once more. It's already in the comments. But if you or when you follow this link, which is actually just going right here, I'm your bot father, ref URL, whatever, you can get the free stuff. And the free stuff is the actual template slide deck from Josh with his forgot the name, checklist and everything he just explained, his framework to set yourself up for success with email marketing for Black Friday and all the other sales events out there. With that, when you follow this link, you can also download a free full-blown coupon code delivery flow, which includes SMS, Google Sheets, you name it. It's not your ordinary coupon code delivery flow. Just check it out. And there's also a 20% discount for bots for e-commerce if you want to valid for 1 week. Josh, dude, thank you so much for this. It was amazing.
Of course, man.
Julian, Josh is awesome. Yes, he is. He sure is. Dude, thank you so much.
Hey, what's up, Julian?
Thank you for being here on a Friday night.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. It was super fun.
Yeah,
and
dude.
You asked some amazing questions. I love your questions. I love when people get super in depth with this. I hope people listening to this enjoyed it. I hope it wasn't too boring for people. It can get kind of geeky.
No, we can. Yeah, that's what we do. That's what we do. That's why we call it a geek out session. Again, Josh, I wish you all the best for the upcoming Black Friday. Wish you all the best in this whole pandemic thing. Be safe in Singapore, and I hope to invite you on the show anytime soon. And,
thank you.
For now, thank you for being here, and thank you for your time. Thank you for being awesome.
Likewise, man. Take care,
Thanks,
guys.
man. Thanks. I'm out.